This is Drew Spence from the Dynamic Universe and Digital Art Live. We're looking at the work by BeeMKay, which you may recognize from Demon Division. This is an accomplished part of a team that is writer and artist together that puts together comics. So we're going to see what they've done as part of the 8-week course. They were given pre-rendered scenes in a few different styles and tasked with assembling some sort of cohesive narrative. And also buried with that would be accomplishing certain goals week to week that had to be accomplished and done within the narrative. So we're going to take a look at one of their submissions. We'll stay in outer space for the first one, and we'll take a look at Code Noir. Start out with a space shot. This is a composite render already, where the background is a supplied element that we had for the class, and the planet was a separate image that they laid on top. We have a denser panel system. We have someone switching to the white, or I should say leaving the page white. Poison. Agar makes me use poison. Grumble. Little special effect there. Word balloon choice. Traditional. Nice curvature on the word balloons. Easy to follow the story. And again, it's pretty difficult and challenging task because they were given so many images. But because they have so many choices, if you can just organize them in your mind and according to your story, you can do a lot. And this is a very dense panel layout. Is the poison causing another mood swing? You're a great guy. And you could tell this is just shifting relationships as we go through the story. Shifting relationships. Again, I'm sure BeeMKay can provide links, probably on the Daz forum in one of our groups. Several of these comics will be included in the course if you actually want to read the entire comic. This is the burst of anger. Action here. Right? There's a lot going on here. So you're going to have to understand the backstory to understand the erratic behavior being shifted to us. As we said before, the character was poisoned, being fed something that's causing them to act in this way. All under control. Beautiful balloon work here with the colors. Also combining different styles. And in this case, as I said, everyone uses this differently. This is now some sort of communicator. Special effects. This, I'm not sure how this was done, but this was probably one of these images with some kind of special effect. This is obviously advanced work. This team has already put together several comics and a series, so they're actually able to do quite a bit more with the supplied assets. As you can see, there's just a lot more to the effects of what's going on. Breaks the glass. Haven't seen many people use that. This is an effect. So as we've seen before, this ship is an isolated item. They're doing some sort of blur streaking effect to show the speed acceleration of the ship in space. We have a font change for the information panel for the narrator, so to speak. And again, these images were supplied out of order, so there really wasn't a cohesive story. You had to come up with one on your own and decide, do I want to do something with the kitchen first, the bathroom, the bedroom? How do I piece this together to make it make sense? Right? You get a random device like this, you're not sure what it is. What is everyone thinking when they see this panel? What do they want to use it as? And again, Asgard is placed on the ship itself. This is actually laid on top. You can see them, bright enough to pop out so you read it and don't miss it. but subtle enough that there actually is a little bit of the overlay where you can see some of the metal of the ship, like it's painted on the side of the ship. But color-wise, it was done enough that you don't skip past this. Color-wise, your eye is going to be drawn to this to make sure you do not miss the context. Because, you know, if you're reading a book, some people say, well, I don't understand why did whatever. And if you miss little details like that, problematic. Alarms and alerts. I'm also not sure how they assembled this. This is a composite with several images they were given and chopped up. So this is really pushing the amount of art you were given into a new level. This is something else completely. I'm not sure how this was done, but I do recognize this as being some of the supplied materials. So they've done some chopping. This actually, if you look close, this is actually the faceplate of the communicator. So they chopped out this faceplate of the communicator and turned it into this other sort of device, this sort of decal, so to speak. Sound effects. Explosion. So this is also a combination of a special effect, which was in one of the folders, which has now been used to symbolize some sort of energy effect. So we have a lot of uses of the stuff they've been given. You can see the blur effect for motion, speed, advanced use of the word balloons. That you can see that they're being reshaped and broken up, right? This effect. Some of the things that we covered being pushed in the class. You recognize this could have been that organic shape we've seen previously, but now in this context, it is really some sort of universal effect of something real heavy going on. We got the baby saying, announce, this is not a drill. Some sort of super sentience going on. And the station goes up. Not good. And this was chosen a very sad expression for this ending. And they seem to have gotten over. This looks like the ship was done with some sort of blur to give it that DOF effect, as if this is super close and the camera is focused beyond the ship here. This is actually the ship. Very nice work. Very nice work. This was actually called Code Noir by BeeMKay. Good stuff. Dense panel work for the Advanced Comic Creation course. We're looking at Limbo from B. If you remember in the Advanced Comic Creation course, over the course of the 8 weeks, students were given a range of images and tasked with creating a compelling narrative. Images were isolated. They were able to change the color, change the scale, aspect ratio, layer the images together, and create some kind of compelling narrative. And along with that, they were given tasks to create an interesting story and accomplish goals through every exercise. So this is the work from B, who gives us Limbo. The assumption was that the good-natured character would be treated as the good guy hero, and the sort of evil villainous looking character would be treated as the heel. And in this case, we see reversal, where B went with color matching, where the tone and grayness of this character matched the airy grayness of this castle. The red was chosen, the rouge look matched this character. And it even follows into the word balloons, as the airy sort of cloud civilization that builds this, or that this character could be from, uses this sort of word balloon that is oh so airy. And again, the volcano background for this character is matched in the bloody type color tone and choice. We have a battle, as you can see, very obvious, very spelling it out for you, that the blue is this side, this faction, and red is this side. Already done with the first word between the two, saying the same thing. Our people can't survive another season of war, then surrender. How about you surrender? Action is going on. Then we have a few days later, the characters are going to sit and talk, having their conversation and meeting. And again, this book will be supplied most likely on the Daz forum or in one of the artist groups. You should be able to find this book. It'll also be included in the course. So you'll be able to read it and take your time in going through it. We're just looking at some of the artistic flourishes, some of the panel work. And again, in the previous work, you saw a lot of dent stacking. This is they're pulling back from that. We have one side stacked. Again, the unevenness, what this does to the frame. And again, you can't be any sharper than dropping the red on one side, the blue on the other. And this is probably pulled from the Planet, the artwork from the Planet folder. So this is a clever use of that outer space background is somehow magnified here and used as a texture. And again, dropping in a background to this volcanic background. Battle in the army, splicing the scenes together. Actually building choreography here. And again, this would have been one of the subversive things where this is really, although looks very pleasant, is the evil character. Look at this, evil. Super evil character. That's the story. And again, this is probably the planet surface mixed with some outer space special effects. Choosing the aspect ratio of the image to border and piece it together. Word balloons balanced and floating into the next panel. Placing the text over the dark background. Red accent, red bloody accent. Soldiers placed in the background as a backdrop. All good work. This would be probably heaviest rooted in the week that we spent time talking about tone and color, because this is heavy choices of tone and color to tell the story right from the very beginning. And this was Limbo from BeeMKay, submitted as part of the 8-week course Advanced Comic Creation, Drew Spence, Dynamic Universe, and Digital Art Live.